So I remember I played the first time I played like 10 or 11 boards, and it didn't end all that well for me because I timed out on almost half of the games. I had no idea that this was going to be so tough.
Oh yeah.
So that's how it began, uh, and gradually, if you keep doing one thing, you learn the ropes, and it's been around about 5 6 months.
Wow, cool. Yeah, I've watched you. It's just amazing watching you host these things. Also, for our viewers that want to do a simul, how do you approximate the time to give yourself as well as your opponents to allow the good quality games that I see on your stream? It's something I've struggled with. You mentioned that idea of like getting timed out. What are you doing there to make it work?
Well, it depends on what sort of streamer you are. I mean, if you want to be an interactive streamer, if you want to engage with the viewers, then what you want to do is give yourself plenty of time. I think on leeches you have the option of giving around 2 hours of extra time to yourself. You could do that. That allows you to engage with the viewers. Focus on chat, and just engage with everybody. However, if you just want to play for the sake of playing chess, you can tone down the time control big time. So for me, something like 30 minutes with 30 seconds of increment, that seems to work. If I am purely gonna be focusing on chess and I'm playing like 8 or 10 boards, but
Yeah.
I usually give myself a little bit of extra time because another point of streaming is to engage with everybody, socialize with everybody.
Really cool, Art. Also, I've been asking this of a lot of the other streamers, but how old were you when you got into chess? It's one of those things I'm always curious about. Like, how young was Art when he first started this game?
Yeah, I remember that very clearly. In fact, I've told this story plenty of times on my stream as well. I was very lucky to find this wonderful game. I was 11 years old, and the year was 1994. I was studying in the eighth grade in a school in Lahore, which is a city in Pakistan up north of where I am right now. And up till that point, I had absolutely no idea about chess. I was under the impression that most people have the impression about chess, if they don't know about chess, that it's a boring game. A couple of old players sitting down for a long time and deep in their thought. So that was my impression. So it was purely coincidental. I was in the eighth grade, and we used to have these extracurricular activities in our school. We used to have a free period for that, and our teacher came up with the idea of introducing chess. So I was basically forced into learning the moves at that point. And remember, I had an uncle in my family who used to play who used to play this game. He's still alive, and he used to beat me at first, and that gave me the little bit of motivation to improve my game. And I kept on playing, and I just fell in love with this, over time. Mr. Blizzard, thank you so much for the support. Somebody cheering in my stream.
Oh yeah, I see that
I
right
didn't
now.
appear.
I've actually got your live feed showing as I interview you. That's really cool. A lot of support there from the viewers, and you're obviously one of my favorite streamers. I mean, you've got great music playing as you're going through the game, and the notification and alerts are fantastic on the subs and such. You've done a really great job setting up your stream. Was that like when you got into streaming and stuff? Did you have someone that maybe was streaming in your life that you're like, I'm gonna start doing what my friends doing, or was this something you kind of found on your own? Like, how did you come into chess streaming?
I came into chess streaming just like I discovered chess, right? Purely by chance. I remember last year I was playing in the Pro Chess League Summer Series on chess.com, and I would watch some streamers, namely Andrea Botes and Alexandra Botes. And up till that time, I was under the impression that streaming can only be done by people who are unique or special, like if they have a title or if they're famous or something. And
Wow.
somebody has followed me on the stream, so thank you for that.
Cool. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I can't believe like how wonderful this chess community is. I mean, even what we're doing today, having our viewers come in here and give us support and say hello as we're streaming together, it's really special. Have you kind of felt some of that too? That we're just really lucky.
I am completely amazed, and I'm in complete awe by the support of this wonderful chess community. And to be honest, I probably couldn't have continued streaming for so long had it not been for the support, because it does take up a lot of your energy, a lot of your time. As much as I love the game,
Yeah.
the support has been absolutely amazing. And talking about myself, in real life, I'm a reserved sort of a guy. So this also gives me the opportunity to socialize. And I've met some amazing people. And it's not just about the financial support, it's about the emotional support. I've
Oh
met
yeah.
some amazing people over here, like you yourself, and one of my favorite streamers, Derek. So it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I mean, especially with COVID going on, having the ability to connect with friends and play this wonderful game and get challenged by people like yourself and Jen Pedersen or Goth Girl Games as she's known. It's been a lot of fun, and you're extremely strong, Art. What do you think is one of the top things or reasons that you were able to hit that 2300 and above uh, rating on Lee Chess? Because that is quite an accomplishment, and you're very accurate in your moves. You play very well. So what do you think you attribute the most to that success?
Um, I think I would have to say, chess is something that came easy to me. I learned it in school, and over the years, I grew in strength just because I kept on playing. I remember around about 1999, when I first started using the internet, I used to play on Yahoo Chess. I don't think they still have that option available, but I used to play a lot over there.
Yep.
So I mostly learned by playing myself and looking up on grandmaster games. I used to study some players that I liked. Players like Paul Morphy from the Romantic era, Jose Raul Capablanca. They used to inspire me. I used to read up about them, and it's something that I also recommend to my viewers who are looking to improve on their game. It's the first question that I ask. If you want to improve in chess, then tell me who your chess hero is. Some of them say we don't have a favorite chess player. Then I tell them that you need to find a favorite chess player,
Yeah.
because our heroes give us inspiration and motivation.
Oh,
So
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. I was similar with the books and such in Morphe, obviously Romantic Era with all the pawns going to the center, right? And I was really
yeah.
enamored with those games. Like, wow, if I could play, C4, E4, D4, and F4 every game, I'm gonna win, right? But then you learn the hyper modern style and the fianchetto defenses and breaking up that center and the joy that is like C5 or some well timed break that dismantles everything. It's really exciting, and it's neat to see that that's also kind of a similar background that you have. There wasn't like a
Yeah.
particular book or anything though. It was like more just like a large level just studying and enjoying the players, or was there like a particular resource that you thought helped you or
Well, to be honest, I have this chess channel on YouTube that I started just about the same time I started streaming, and over there I'm covering a series on RNMs, which my system. I'm gonna be very honest. This is the first chess book that I'm going through myself comprehensively. Besides that, I have not gone through, any chess theory, any substantial chess theory. So this was also part of the reason, for me to start the video series, was to go to through the book myself as well and make it available for others in a video format over there as well.
I see. So one question that's coming in right now from Chess Hornet Killer is about finding someone that plays similar openings as you. Do you think that's an important part of chess growth? Is that you find someone that would play the openings that maybe you're trying to learn, or do you think that that's less important to find that type of person?
Well, I guess it helps. I think people have a preference to some openings. Like I call myself a D4 player. I love playing the D4 lines, and in a way, I fashioned myself my openings to avoid playing openings such as the Sicilian lines or stuff like that. As a black player, I try to avoid playing the Scotch game. You can basically force your opponent not to go down those lines. If you don't play c5 yourself as black, then you're going to be avoiding the Sicilian lines.
Yeah.
So it depends on the player, but I definitely think everybody has their preferences. When you talk about openings.
Yeah, and one thing you kind of bring up there is the idea that if you're going to play an opening on one side, you wouldn't necessarily want to show how to play against that by playing the other side of it. So if you're going to play like anti-Sicilian lines, then you don't necessarily want to play the Sicilian as black and show how to play against your own moves as white. And at least that's something I found as well. So I'll play like a d4 opening, but then with the e4 pawns, I'll try to avoid, like when people try to play the Carl Khan against me, I play the King's Indian attack. I play a different variation. Is that do you do similar things like kind of like game it where you don't actually show them how to play your opening, or?
I actually can't, because when you talk about playing the Sicilian, I would actually rate myself around the 1200 range. I don't know how to play the Sicilian.
Okay.
When I'm playing the white pieces, I just punch in d4, so we avoid the Sicilian line altogether. When I'm playing the black pieces, I don't play c5. I go with e5. If my opponent plays e4, so my objective is just to avoid that particular line.
Nice.
With full credit to the Sicilian, I mean, it's a fantastic opening, and I've been meaning to expand my opening repertoire. If players like Bobby Fischer found this opening, important, and considered it as a favorite, so it's definitely something in that. It's just that I've gotten into a habit of playing, D4 lines, Queen's Gambit decline lines, semi-Slav lines, and stuff like that.
Yeah, cool. That's helpful. Someone else has a question about kind of like analyzing their own games. It sounds like they've been using an engine to analyze their games, and they're asking about what's the best way to learn from your mistakes. Like when you look at a game after you've played it, what are you doing to kind of take and improve from that game that you're observing yourself having played?
Well, I guess you can use the engine for that, right? You can use Stockfish for that, and that definitely helps. But I have also, talked about these chase engines on my stream as well. I think they are, uh, you know, th- it's unfortunate that they kill the beauty of this beautiful game.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, they help you, learning because they can calculate millions of moves themselves, but you can't help feel that there will come a time when there will be an engine so strong that it's going to solve chess entirely. It will be just like a puzzle that has been solved. So you
Yeah.
talk about players that played around 120 years ago, at the time of Paul Morphy, Capablanca, Emmanuel Lasker, Alexander Alekhine. I mean, that was a golden age for playing chess, right? Because it was the human beings that were the strongest in chess. Unfortunately, these days, it's either Stockfish or AlphaZero. And even the strongest player in the world can't stand against them.
Yeah.
So, they are, in a way, they have their pros and their cons. They definitely help because they point out your mistakes, and I do use them.
Yeah. That's
Uh,
kind of
you know,
Yeah. One thing
Go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say one thing I try to focus with the engines is like blunder checking. So it's less about learning like the most exact line to beat my opponent. For myself, I'm trying to learn what do I avoid to not lose, as opposed to what do I play to win. I don't want the computer to give me lines to win with. I want the computer to show me like, don't play this move because it's going to make you inferior, as opposed to actually give me the answer of solving the position. I agree with you that there's the older games back in the day when they were finding it themselves, there's a beauty there, and people ask me like, who's your favorite chess player? And it's hard to choose someone from this time because the resources they have are kind of ridiculous. I mean, the engines, the team of people with the engines as well, and so it's not speculatively known. It's not about them and putting in the investment of time and trying to figure it out for themselves. It's more like spoon fed to them, and it takes away the beauty of the game, like you said, very much. So I
Yeah, exactly.
totally agree with you.
If you talk about at the top level, I mean, it's a vicious cycle. have to use the engine to study your games. You have to analyze those lines. If you don't do that, other players are going to do that, and they're going to get an advantage against you in the opening, and you'll just your performance is going to suffer. So it's taking away the beauty of chess, I guess, in that sense. And I try using the engines mostly for checking up on my mistakes. If you talk about learning theory, then I rely mostly on studying grandmaster games for that, and other databases available on the internet.
Yeah. For myself, like if I look at Magnus Carlsen versus Fabiano or some of these like top players and their games, I can get lost fairly early with the ideas and what's going on. Do you feel some of that too, or do you feel like you understand it pretty well when you watch their games?
I mean, the first few moves, when you talk about the opening, like 10 or 12, first few moves, they're pure theory. I mean, even if you deviate slightly from that, you're going to get a disadvantage. So you talk about Magnus Carlsen and Fabiano Caruana, that they are one of the strongest players in the world. Uh, when you get towards the middle game, I guess it starts making a lot more sense because it boils down to pure chess, right? Because you're out of opening theory, so it becomes more understandable. But if you see Magnus Carlsen going for a queen move, right in the opening, developing the queen oddly, then you're thinking, what a move.
Yeah.
So they can be very complex and difficult to understand because, after all, they are the strongest players in the world, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Now, Chess with Ovi has a question for you. He says, when playing opponents you've already played in the past, do you tend to adapt your playing style, or do you still play the same chess against them? Like Jen would be a good example, right? She plays this bird and Dutch stuff. Like, do you find yourself changing as you play these people, or is it the
I
same?
do. I do. I think it happens at a subconscious level more than at a conscious level. If you get to play your opponents again and again, you tend to analyze what they are playing, and if they are getting an advantage against you out of the opening, like I had a few viewers who used to play the Budapest Gambit against me, and they would get an advantage out of the opening. So I would be sort of from a subconscious level, I would automatically be forced to study that line and change up my opening theory. So I think that happens at a subconscious level for me. It happens naturally for me.
Oh wow, that's cool. Yeah, and another thing that happens with me is I get nervous, right? Because you've maybe lost to someone like yourself. I play you a lot, and you tend to beat me, so I feel like I get nervous making even some of my more normal moves against a lower rated player against you, and I'm trying to find like a better line than even the line that I like normally. So I definitely agree with you that there's like
It's
you do
it's
adapt.
it's only human, right? It happens with everybody. I think half of the game. If you talk about faster chess, you talk about blitz. It boils down to psychology. Your emotions. How well balanced are you? You can play your strongest chess when you're calm, and sometimes if you face the opponent again and again, if they've beaten you, if they've
Yep.
dominated you, in the past few games, that affects your mind at a psychological level.
Oh yeah,
I
definitely.
have the, I have this saying that I keep repeating on my stream as well: play to play well and not to win. And in the words of Bobby Fischer, on the chessboard, only good moves matter. So you have to put all of that out of your mind. Who you are playing, whether it's somebody that has beaten you, if you're playing a title player or not, you have to put that out of your mind, and you just have to focus on the board. It's the pieces that are moving. You're playing against the black pieces, or you're playing against the white pieces. Put the opponent out of the mind. I think by doing that, you can play your strongest chess. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
difficult standard to set. It's easier said than done, but it's a standard that I set for myself, and I try actively to achieve it. Do I
Yeah.
achieve it all the time? Obviously not. I'm a human being. I make mistakes just like everybody. I feel the pressure just like everybody. Sometimes my emotions get the better of me. I play like a beginner. I make horrible mistakes. But it's a standard so that I like to set for myself, and I recommend it to others as well.
Yeah, that's really good advice, and we definitely do adapt as we play, right? And that's cool. You know, it's funny. I've heard that phrase before, said a different way. It's like play the board, not the player. You know, people talk about that idea, and maybe don't look at the rating, don't look at the person, just look at the board and make the best move possible. That just like you would if you're
I
playing
think
anyone.
I think
So
it was Akiba Rubinstein who was asked this question that who are you playing tonight, and he answered that I'm playing the black pieces. So you have to just put the opponent out of the mind. Forget about the guy. He beat you like in the last 2 3 games. Whether you're playing in a tournament or not, it's again it's easier said than done. But you have to at least try to achieve that level of mental stability.
oh yeah, definitely. Let's see, what else can I ask you about? Have you do you have a favorite chess player? Like someone that maybe you try to emulate your game or play like?
If I were really forced to put my finger on one player, I think I would choose Bobby Fischer as my favorite chess player, just because he was just fantastic, and he was very confident as well over the board. And his win against Boris Spassky in a very publicized World Chess Championship match in the 1970s. So he was just awesome, and I think he would be right there at the top for me. But then again, I admire a lot of players. Mikhail Tal. There's Mikhail Tal. There's Gary
Yeah,
Kasparov, and I can just keep going on and on. There are current players, Vishwanathan Anand. And of course, from the romantic era, you talk about Alexander Alekhine, Manon Lasker, the longest reigning world chess champion. Paul Morphy, obviously. I mean, who doesn't like Paul Morphy, right?
right.
So
Yeah, that's
I
a great
have
that's a great answer.
I admire a lot of players.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You listed many very strong attacking players. Tal and Fisher, two of the best attacking players ever. And then one beautiful thing, as we talked about before, no engines. So they were finding these wild, wonderful attacks that are engine sound on their own. Really beautiful thing going on there. Um,
And Bobby Fischer, one of his games where he played a sacrificial combination. I mean, the engines weren't strong, at the beginning of the 21st century. But the engines at that time, like Fritz and Ripka, even they couldn't find that line, and we
yeah,
found that line. So he was such an amazing player.
right?
So definitely one of my favorite players.
Uh, yeah, that's really special stuff. What about Chess with Ovi again is asking questions about keeping calm under time pressure. He said he tends to play really good chess until he has about 2 minutes left on his clock, and then he panics and has a hard time finding ideas. So
It happens. It happens with everybody. I mean, uh, you're more likely to make a blunder. You're more likely to make a mistake in a time scramble. Again, it's all about your mental stability. I mean, sometimes for me, I can I can play at such a high confidence that I completely put the clock out of the picture. I'm aware of it subconsciously, so as not to completely just time out. But somehow, if I'm in a time scramble, it's the moment that helps me. The adrenaline pumping and the excitement of the moment that helps me in finding the moves. Sometimes it just falls apart. You make horrible moves. So it's about your psychology. I mean, you have to train yourself psychologically. That is a very big factor in this game.
so when you say train yourself psychologically, I know there's books out there for like mental toughness and stuff, but like meditation maybe? What type of thing are you talking about with that? What mental exercises maybe could someone do to work on that mental toughness?
I guess meditation obviously help, but if you look at the top players, like Vishwanathan Anand says that uh, you know you, uh, he goes to the gym every day. I mean, he's past his peak. If you talk about Alexander Alekhine, once in an interview he mentioned that he likes to play ping pong, table tennis, keep himself physically active. Talk about Bobby Fischer. He was a known athlete. He could walk for hours and hours. So you have to keep your body healthy, because healthy body functions with your mind. So I guess you can do that. you can do that, definitely do that.
Yeah, that's really good advice. So, do you feel then, talking about like the body, and taking care of ourselves and how life maybe has to have things going a certain way and have your body in a certain mental shape and preparedness for the rounds. But do you see ways in which maybe life imitates chess, like beyond just like physical stuff and trying to stay healthy and stuff like that? Are there things that you see as like maybe chess has helped you, the analysis in chess somehow helped you with life or things like that? Where is that carryover?
I'm, I'm a big believer that this game reflects life in general, right? Because you take the concept of sacrificing. Uh, uh, a sound sacrifice can give you a win in a game, and the same applies in life. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices to achieve higher things. So I'm a big believer that this game helps out your everyday life. For me, it definitely has. You know, I'm glad I found this game, and it kept me from doing, you know, bad stuff. I guess this is a very healthy game. So
Oh yeah.
definitely big believer in this game. A viewer in my stream is asking, "Who are you talking with?" I'm talking with Jacob, Fortuna Chess Coach. We are doing an interview, as Jacob mentioned earlier. Square.
Yeah, that's cool. That's neat. Yeah, I guess they probably can't see me right now, which is a challenge. But we've got them, got us both over here, so that's good. I don't know. I'm just
This is I think this video will be available on your YouTube channel, right?
yep.
This is just a stream of it, so you can always check up on the video on Jacob's channel later on as well.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be pushing it over to YouTube for sure. So following the broadcast, I'll move it over there. That'd be great. Um, yeah, you're definitely someone that I've come to, I guess, look at as almost like a mentor with chess, right? Because you're obviously stronger than me. You're winning more of the games, and you're playing really well. And I usually put types on players. I'll play someone, I'll be like, this is a positional player, this is a tactical, like wide open, rock'em sock'em type player. But you seem to have uh, talents on both sides there. I see you making really good decisions with like your pawns and keeping them very healthy, while at the same time also coming up with very strong attacking ideas. And is that you think from looking at these master games of chess, or where have you developed both sides? Is that something you kind of like focused on? Like I want to be able to attack very well and understand my pawns and such, because you've definitely shown some strong abilities.
Well, you're a strong player yourself, and I've played you plenty of times, and you've gotten some good wins against me. One thing that came naturally to me were tactics. If you ask me that I do a lot of puzzles and stuff, I don't. I never actually got into the habit. It's something that happens on a naturally for me. But position play, you talk about longer game strategy. That is something that I actively try to achieve over the board. And yeah, you talk about position play. You have to maintain a healthy pawn structure. You have to think about the game from a longer point of view.
Yeah.
So I try to do that.
Yeah, it's been really good. Chess with Ovi again with a question. He says he taught himself with chess when he was around like 900, and he during those first few months he was talking about the chess principles and how as you become stronger at chess, you sometimes have to ignore those principles or work against them. Um, and he's asking about how do you treat the chess principles? Like when you're playing a game of chess, are those kind of like almost like the commandments, or it's like you have to do these things, or is it like a reference thing that's just kind of in the back of your mind to be thinking thoughtful of, or do you just kind of just look at the board, maybe not think about that at all, just say what does the position ask me to do? Like how do you treat chess principles?
I guess you have to be unpredictable, right? Especially against strong players. If you're gonna get a plus score against them, then you have to be unpredictable. You have to look for moves that your opponent is not going to be expecting. So I think from that point of view, you have to try and do that.
Yeah. I guess to answer part of what Chess with Ovi asked too, for myself, I won't necessarily castle early if the position's very locked up. So if you have a closed center, the pawns haven't exchanged in the center four squares, maybe there's an advanced variation of an opening, I often wait a lot longer to castle. Or if I see like heavy power coming to one side of the board, like maybe the bishops are trained on the king side, and I'm like, well, geez, it looks like some kind of sacrifice on h7 might be looming, so I'll wait longer for maybe some more pieces to get exchanged, and then venture to castle kingside if I do castle at all. Do you feel some of that same stuff, or what? Are you finding yourself ever waiting to castle, or?
I guess it's about maintaining a healthy balance between being aggressive and you know being solid. So in some of the lines, I guess you can delay your casting. I wouldn't recommend doing that all that often because it is a chess opening principle. Safety is a very important factor. It does depend on some of the lines. Like I play the Gruenfeld line where sometimes I can delay castling and just go for an all-out attack and just keep the king in the middle. So
Wow.
so I guess you have to analyze that from line to line. Depends on the position that you have on the board. But I wouldn't recommend doing that. Making that a really big habit because king safety is definitely a factor.
Yeah, and I noticed too, you mentioned the Gruenfeld. That's probably like one of the openings maybe that you've studied more deeply. And and like you're saying, sometimes the idea of castling, although good for the king's safety, if you do it during a time when maybe you have an initiative, the castling move actually gives your opponent that one extra move to solidify the center or protect something that if you didn't castle, you'd maybe get that bishop pair or whatever small advantage that you're looking for out of the opening. So it sounds like maybe you've studied that with the Gruenfeld and found some lines. And I've definitely
Yeah,
seen.
exactly.
Go ahead.
Sometimes castling, if you talk about castling giving your opponent a tempo, sometimes it can give you a tempo. For example, if you castle long and you put the rook on the open file at the same move, so that can work to your advantage as well. So, it depends on the position on the board, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And again, Chess with Ovi here talked about how he beat a 2300 or 2300 players in general, I should say, with unexpected pawn breaks. So I think that also ties in with the idea of like um, mixing it up a little bit. Like when you just play the openings as people have always seen them, it's almost a pattern. It's memory recognition, right? But like Chess with Ovi is saying, if someone is making different moves, if someone's putting that pawn to the center in a way that they're not sure how to respond to it, that can be very powerful. Because if they don't react accurately, maybe there's a weakness in the center that gets formed. So um, that is a good point that he brings up there. But you have to be careful because um, by doing those moves, you're obviously risking something as well if they're able to see it, right? Because then you might just be worse because you didn't make the main line. What do you think about that, Art? Like, do you find yourself trying that kind of stuff, an interesting pawn break against higher rated opponents to mix it up with them to?
Yeah, you talk about pawn breaks, they are extremely important. You have to be mindful of all the potential pawn breaks that can happen on the board. It's just about timing that pawn break, because if you mistime it, then you're either going to lose the pawn and release the tension on the board. So, you have to just time those pawn breaks and you have to keep them in mind where they can happen on the board. A viewer in my chat is asking who is your guest. I'm actually the guest, Josh the Pro, and Jacob is the wonderful host over here, who's doing this interview.
Yeah, it's so good to see you, Art. I mean, I've wanted to do this for quite a while. You've always hit me as like a very strong player and someone I wanted to learn a lot from. Um,
And I just wanna say this for the record. I think really amazing. I've given a few interviews in my life. Obviously not like this, but stuff like job interviews. You really are special. You do this with a
Thanks, Art.
flair. There's something about you that puts the person at ease. So I think you do a fantastic job. The interviews that you've done with one of my favorite streamers, Derek, can't talk enough about the guy. I
Yeah,
mean, he's literally like my favorite streamer. And then with Faraway and Fuzzy Gardens, and you're a really good streamer yourself. So
well,
thank you
thank
so
you.
much for doing this.
Yeah, it's been so much fun to learn about you guys. I've always had an affinity for the game. I love chess so much, and then when I see people like all those people you just mentioned and yourself that play chess very well, they're streaming chess. I just want to learn more about you guys, and everybody's got such a unique story. And do you have any favorite places that you play chess? Like, let's see, like for myself back in college, there was always a cafe. I'll just say that. But was there somewhere that was like a special chess experience for you, where maybe you went somewhere and you're like, oh, I really, you know, liked playing here.
Well, I would love to play more over the board games, but the downside of me living in Pakistan is that online chess is pretty much all I have. You know, take care of this passion of mine, because when you talk about a country like Pakistan, it has barely a few title players, no grandmasters. Chess isn't all that popular over here.
Mm.
So as much as I would like to play over the board games, and I think it's absolutely necessary. It's a necessary experience if you want to improve as a chess player, because that helps you in making you mentally stronger. The
Yeah.
change of the environment, the hype of the tournament. That is the sort of environment that you want to put yourself in. But unfortunate as it is, uh, online chess is basically all I have right
Okay.
now. So
Yeah.
I
I was just curious. It was something I don't know that much about Pakistan, to be honest. I've only things overseas. I only hear about mostly in the news and stuff. I don't have a whole lot of an idea, I guess, of what it might be like to live there. But I know it would be really, really wonderful to play a game over the board with you. I would really the kibitzing, right? That's I always talk about the streaming part. The hardest thing for me is that after the game is over, the internet is so just like right now, just boom, it's over. There's no like you don't interact with that person. They leave the room typically. There's no dialogue. And the over the board games, you oftentimes have that talk about, hey, on move 18, what were you thinking about? That kind of stuff. So maybe you and I can try to have that ourselves sometime through Lee Chess, clicking the phone option, maybe even off stream, and just talking over the game afterwards. I really like that a lot, and I miss that as I've done the streaming thing compared to my club activities. What would you think about that,
yeah,
Art?
I agree completely. And in that sense, discovering streaming has really helped me as well, because you get the chance for not only playing the game, but also interacting with the viewers, discussing about your moves. And I, for one, always admire a streamer that shares his thoughts while he is playing this game. So that is something that I actively try to do myself. Discuss the moves of the game after it's done with my viewers.
Nice.
The games that we have in the simuls, I usually like to do an analysis of the games so that
Wow.
the viewers can share their thoughts, and we can try and understand the game collaboratively.
That's a really good idea. I haven't analyzed my simul games as much, but that is a really, really good idea to go back and say, oh yeah, on this move, did you
Yeah.
consider or those kind of things because we oftentimes do miss some really sharp lines or ideas, and it's definitely fun to discuss those. That's a really cool idea you're doing there.
And it's I only do this because if I watch streams, if I play on stream, I find that I enjoy the analysis of my games as well. I consciously make an active effort to try and analyze as many games as I can. Previously, I used to analyze all the games that I used to play in the simuls, but sometimes some of the players would just play the game and leave, and it would be just me doing the talking. So now I just limit the analysis to whoever requests it, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it is.
What do you see as like one of your favorite chess variants? We've got this Horde and Crazy House and these different games. Is there a variant in particular that you really enjoy playing with chess?
That would be chess 960, and I advocate that variant wholeheartedly. To everybody. If you want to improve your standard game, then chess 960 is something that you want to try. It's a variant that was developed by Bobby Fischer, and he developed this with a vision that with the advancements in opening theory, you know, uh, some people just learn the opening lines and they get an advantage out of that. If you want to improve your pure chess skills, what you want to do is take up chess 960. Because in chess 960, you rearrange the pieces, so you completely fall out of opening theory. So I like that variant myself.
Yeah, that's awesome. And one thing I like about your answer is it shows you're a strong chess player and someone who enjoys like I don't want to say chess as it's meant to be, but in a way, yes. Like you still want to play the same game, but you want to take away maybe some of the memorized opening theory and add some life and to a game that maybe is a little bit overly memorized in some lines now, right? You could maybe that's what it sounds like to me with 960. You're trying to look for like a way to add excitement to it to the game and have to really solve it differently, I guess. Is that part of it?
In a sense, there is a pretty big contrast between chess 960 and standard chess, right? Because opening theory, if you talk about opening theory in chess 960, they say that it's still in its infancy. If you talk about the world champion, then that is Wesley So. And Wesley So won against Magnus Carlsen in the world championship. And the guy completely dominated Magnus Carlsen. In chess 960, it's about pure chess. I mean, it's not like as if one particular line really well and you're gonna get an advantage. It just boils down to pure chess. You have a random arrangement of the pieces. You have to focus on development, and you have to just play the game positionally. So that helps you a lot, in developing your middle game skills in the standard game as well.
So we have another question from Chess with Ovi. He's asking, I plan to have a board by my side, a real board, whenever I play online chess so that I can play the game on the real board and only transfer the moves to the online chess. Do you think that that would help? So do you think that playing with like an actual board while playing online would be a good idea, Art?
I haven't actually given that a shot myself, although I have come across some players who do that. But I don't know about that. Maybe it works. Maybe it helps you. I guess if you want to play over the board games, then that is definitely a good strategy. I guess that would help you in over the board games. I guess.
I was gonna say it'll help as long as you're not playing 1 minute, right? If you're doing a bullet game and you're making the move on a physical board and then you're touching the board, like you're gonna lose on time. But if you have the time
Yeah, you.
available, it could perhaps be helpful. Another viewer is, and I know you've answered this already on stream, but just so he can hear you say it, I guess he wants to know where you're from. So where are you from, Art? For our viewers, I guess.
I am from a country that is half the world around from US. It's called Pakistan, right next to India. It's in this Indian subcontinent.
Yeah, and of course it is really far away. It makes these interviews very challenging, right? Because we get you're actually closer time-wise. You said Pacific time, which that kind of surprised me. I was thinking you'd be like when I interviewed Yoel Rubbs. Yoel was actually like 7 hours different than me. You're only 3 hours different. This is a lot easier. You get the
It's I doubt it's 3 hours of difference because it's like 1:30 a.m. over here right now for me.
oh, okay,
So
it's
it's you.
more. Oh, it's a bigger. Okay, it's a lot more than I was thinking then. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I thought we were closer. I guess I mispicked up on that. I thought you were saying 12. Oh, so you were trying to give me my time. You were saying Pacific time for me. Is that what that was?
Pacific time, yeah, Pacific time in general, but it's
Okay.
usually around a 12-hour difference if you talk about the US,
All
right?
right. So you're not in Pacific. Okay, I was thinking. Okay, I'm all kinds of confused because you mentioned that the other day. You said let's meet at 12 Pacific time, and I was assuming you'd either give my time or your time, but that's neither of our times because I'm Eastern time. And what time zone are you in? What
I don't know what time zone we fall in, I guess, but the time is
Okay.
1:30 a.m.
All
I
right.
guess.
Well, I'm
I mean,
sorry to keep you up so
if in the
late.
US, in the US you're living in the East Coast, I think the time difference is around like 10 hours, and if you're living in the West Coast, then it's usually around 12 hours.
Well, I am so
So it's a
thankful.
12-hour difference.
I can't tell you how thankful I am that you're actually doing this interview so late at night for yourself. It means a lot that you're willing to make this accommodation to work with me. That's really nice of you. Thank you so
It's
much.
it's it's my pleasure, and I thank you for all the effort that you have put in arranging this. And it's really convenient for me, anyways. I usually stream in the night times, seeing that most of the chess playing world is up at the time when my country is sleeping. So it's all good. It's all good by me.
Okay, and one other question that just came in: do you have a FIDE rating?
I don't, and the reason behind that is again I live in Pakistan. Unfortunately, not many feed sponsored events take place over here. Chess, unfortunately, is very unpopular over here. People are more into other games like playing cricket or hockey or football, stuff like that. Chess is just unpopular over here. We only have a few title players, a couple of IMs, and they are getting really old as well. Pakistan has never produced a single grandmaster. The only grandmaster that you can associate with this country would be Sultan Khan. Who was a fantastic player, defeated Jose Raul Capablanca in a very famous game as well. But technically, he wasn't from Pakistan because he played before the independence of Pakistan. So he represented British ruled India, right? But
Yeah.
besides that, we don't have any title players over there.
Okay. Well, I mean, that answers that pretty well. Oh yeah. So chats with Ove again. He's asking about your mustache. Did you always have the mustache? And if so, what's the story behind the mustache? What's going on with these mustaches everywhere? Mustache land when you go over to hit your stream.
Well, it's a recent development, and I'm not gonna lie. I just did this to change my personality, I guess, when I started streaming. But before that, I was most of I was a clean shaved guy for my life. But this is a recent development. I guess it's an inspiration from one of my favorite singers, Freddie Mercury, who had a pretty cool stash himself,
Yeah.
and a very popular streamer on Twitch, Dr. Disrespect. He has a mustache as well, and it's become a pretty big theme on my Twitch channel as well. It's literally called Mustache Well. So
Yep.
yeah, it's just a bit of fun, I guess.
Yeah, I love it. I really like you have animations that go off. I think when you have subscriptions and stuff, there's mustaches dancing around the screen and music and a lot of hype and excitement. I absolutely love that. It makes it actually fun to sub to your channel. I like to gift subs over there just to see all that happen and get that nice musical confirmation. So, well,
And you want to do that, so add some humor, add some fun to the channel. Other smart streamers like Derek, I mean, they call them the city streets over there. So
yeah.
you wanna have a fun story for your channel. That's the whole idea behind this.
So another viewer is asking your age, if you're okay with sharing your age. How old are you, Art?
Well, I'm not a lady, so I'm completely fine with sharing my age.
I'm not a lady. Okay,
I'm,
share
I'm,
less.
I'm, I'm, with all due respect to the ladies, I mean, some of them are fine with sharing their age as well. But like the saying goes, that never ask a lady for their age.
Well, you just
I'm
ask her
37 years old.
how 37 you said? 30, 30.
I will be 37 in just a couple of months. My birthday is coming up in August.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm 42, so we're right there together. We're pretty close. So awesome. And have you been to Turkey before?
Have I been to where?
Turkey?
Turkey, the country? I know.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Turkey, but I have been to the US.
Okay. Just I don't know. He asked your age and he asked you if you've been to Turkey. He didn't ask your weight. I guess that's nice. We left the weight out of this one, so that's a good way to meet women, right? You walk up to a girl, hey, how much do you weigh? What's your age? And then from there it goes into some beautiful conversation. It's like
Yeah, fantastic way to kick off, and you're gonna have a lot of luck with that, right?
yeah,
Good luck.
right. That could be so bad. All right, well, this has been a lot of fun, Art. Is there for people are always asking me this question. I don't know if you have a standard way that you answered this, but people are always asking me, how do I improve at chess? Do you have any advice for people who want to improve at chess? Some kind of some regimen, something you'd recommend for that?
I think very simple. You need to ask yourself, do you like this game? Do you enjoy playing this game? And if the answer to your question is yes, then you have the potential to improve. All about your passion. I mean, it boils down to just pure passion. It depends on how much you love the game. The rest is, you know, all pretty standard. You'll hear that from a lot of people, right? Do puzzles, do tactics, study up grandmaster games. Know your chess heroes, have them, because our heroes have the potential of inspiring us towards doing heroic stuff ourselves. So that's my advice. Love the game, love the game and enjoy the game. Play for the love of the game. Don't play just for the outcome of the game. Like I'm playing this to win the game. Chess is more than winning and losing. It teaches you about life. It helps you meeting new friends. It helps you in meeting some wonderful people. And I think the definition of a good player is not how you move chess pieces on the board. It's a combination of being a good human being as well. So that is my advice to the people out there, I guess.
Yeah, that's really good advice, Art. We have another question. Now, you mentioned earlier that against e4, you oftentimes play e5. Do you play any other openings against e4, or is it pretty much exclusively e5 that you enjoy playing against e4?
Pretty much exclusively E5. If I am going to be playing against, you're going to be finding me playing E5. I would play the Re Lopez lines, probably go down the Berlin wall defense. I mean, we can go down the Scotch game if my opponent so chooses. But you won't find me going for stuff like C5 or something like D6 transposing into the perk. So against really strong players, again in a very important match, it's going to be exclusively E5, which is a bad thing. I feel my opening repertoire is limited. Now I have been recently trying to enhance on that. It's just that you get into the habit of playing some particular lines. So I'm a victim of that. I have a limited opening repertoire. I can play other lines just for the fun of them, but I'm not going to be as strong as I am playing the E5 line.
All right, and then you mentioned earlier playing the Gruenfeld. What is that one of your favorite openings, or what are some of your favorite openings to play? That's another question that's coming through right now.
Well, the Gruenfeld, I guess, uh, comes on the board based on the decision of the black player, right? If he punches in D5, otherwise you usually go down the King's Indian line. So a lot of players, black players, like playing the Gruenfeld. In the past, I used to play a very popular line. But after watching a game between, I think it was Vishwanathan Anand and Magnus Carlsen from the 2013 or the 14th World Chess Championship match, somebody just shared 100 bits on my channel, and anonymous cheerer. Thank you so much
I
for
see
the
that
support.
happening. Yeah, that's exciting. Wow.
So I found a particular line where you can play Bishop D2. In fact, Vishwanathan Anand got a really nice win against Ian Nepomniachtchi in a recent game in that line as well. The thing about Bishop D2 is that it throws your black opponent completely off their opening preparation. They don't expect that. So because of that one particular move, I like playing the Grunfeld a lot. Before that, I didn't have a good winning percentage in the Grunfeld line, but because of just that one move, Bishop D2, and that I've started it up, it helps me a lot. I'm not the best player with that line, but it works for me. I find that odd move exciting, and it helps me.
Nice. Do you find yourself going back and analyzing like past tournaments, like for example the Zurich candidates match? Do you find yourself wanting to go back through those games and analyze how those players played and what could be improved, or is that something you're finding yourself doing?
Yeah, obviously, you want to check up on how playing this game. When you talk about the strongest players in the world, like Magnus Carlsen, Nepomniachtchi, Grishchuk, we talk about these players because one thing that you can come across are some subtle variations. They are constantly in the search of innovation. Chess theory has come a long way. We have found most of the moves, I think. There is a saying that there are more moves in chess than there are atoms in the observable universe. But it does help analyze grandmaster games and learning some new stuff in the opening. I definitely recommend that, and I try to do that myself as well.
Yeah, that's really good advice, Art. And so with the Sicilian, do you think that's something you'll be picking up soon? You mentioned being a little bit weaker
I
in the
plan
Sicilian, but
I definitely plan to because I just mentioned that I have a YouTube chess channel, so I have covered some grandmaster games over there where I discuss some opening theory. The idea is to learn that opening theory myself as well and make it available to others.
oh,
So I
cool.
plan on doing I plan on covering some Grandmaster games, where Sicilian was played because I think if I don't play that doesn't take away the fact that it's a very extensive opening. There are a number of lines that you can play over there. So that's something that I definitely need in my opening repertoire. When you talk about openings, you should be able to play all of the openings. I
Can,
mean, ideally,
can you go?
if you
Oh,
talk
sorry.
about
Keep going. Sorry. My bad.
if you talk about someone like Magnus Carlsen, he has a very vast opening repertoire. So that's the standard that you want to set for yourself. My opening repertoire is very limited, so that does help you, in getting an advantage.
Nice. You mentioned the YouTube channel. Can you post that on your channel so I can copy it and put it on mine so that I'd like people to be able to see your YouTube following this as well. So let's get that link if we
I
can.
think I have a command for that YouTube, and there is the link over there.
Oh, cool.
I just
Thank you so
uh,
much. Awesome.
I
Yeah.
just started this channel at the same time as I started streaming. The idea was to again, engage with viewers who shared my interest, and at the same time learn myself. Because one thing I learned from my last job was that as a teacher, as someone who is trying to help others to learn, you yourself learn the most. So, I learned that being a university lecturer for a little over a year. So
I
that
was
is the idea.
I was just reminded. I went to your YouTube channel. I was reminded of something you told us about. You were covering the Aaron Nimcevich My System book on your YouTube, correct? You're going through that book on there. Is that right?
I am doing that. I'm doing that.
That's fantastic. Definitely, viewers right now, go out to YouTube. Maybe not as the interview's happening, but following the interview, go out to YouTube and check out these videos because that My System book is recommended by top GMs across the world as a way to improve your chess. And here, Art Vega has taken the time to go through this, pretty long book and cover it for you and try to bring those ideas into video format for you. And then Art, would you recommend that they also like pause the video and do things like some of the exercises and stuff on a board as they follow along, or how would you recommend taking in this content from the video?
You can do that, but the video for the series that I'm making, you basically just need a cup of coffee and just take a seat. That is the whole idea behind that series. I wanted to
Nice.
make the book available. I wanted to render the book in a video format because
Wow.
this was a book that I wanted to study myself for like a good 6 8 years, and I was just lazy about it. And
Wow.
then I finally picked up the book for the video series. I found out that it's actually not that easy to go through the book. Firstly, because it's in an old chess notation system, and even if it's in the modern chess notation system, because they have versions for that right now as well, it can be pretty tedious work. Would you subscribe? Uh, Jacob, thank you for that. Gifted a subscription on my channel. You've been so supportive
Yeah.
previously as well. So thank you
Oh,
for the
definitely.
support.
I mean, this information you're sharing with us is fantastic. You know, it's pretty amazing that you're giving up your time not only for streaming, which is an amazing resource, that you're giving people to watch this fantastic, strong fighting and also positional chess that you play, but also in addition to that, the fact that you've taken the time to make that YouTube series. Those videos take time, and getting through that book takes time. And trying to make that book, something people can just consume with a cup of coffee, like you're saying, that's such a gift you've given us. The least I can do is gift that sub back in response for the effort that you're making on our behalf. Thank you so much for the content you're putting out there, Art.
Yeah, thank you so much. It really is my pleasure. And that was one of the idea behind that channel. I wanted to give something of substance back to this amazing chess community that has been so supportive to me, that has allowed me to continue playing this game that I love and stream at the same time. So we are almost done with, I think, 40% of the book. I think in a matter of few months, we should be done with the entire series. So
Wow.
that is going to be available over there.
Well, that's fantastic, Art. And I mentioned earlier in this, maybe you and I playing some games afterwards, off stream and talking after the game. I'd really enjoy that a lot. I hope you're willing to do that with me sometime. Would you do that with me and maybe try to improve at chess together? Or
I would love to do that. In fact, you are one of the few streams that I come over for some blitz, because you're usually having these blitz arenas, and I really quite enjoy myself over there. You can get to play some really strong players, like you mentioned, Jen Pedersen earlier, very strong. I think she's a women's international master.
yep.
So it's very fun. I would love to do that.
And we've got Twitch with Fishes here. He's saying hello too as well, and of course Twitch Fish Chess also playing on our stream. You know, it's a lot of fun. So he's saying
He's
hello,
he's
and
he's a fellow streamer, and he's a very strong player himself, and
exactly.
a wonderful person as well. So
And then I really enjoy this is not me is his lead chess name, but this is not me is a Lansing master. He's actually an over the board chess master who comes and plays in the arenas as well. That's been a lot of fun. And then it looks like Twitch Fish Chess is asking us, did you find your chess strength grow alongside with your great mustache art? So as your mustache has grown, is it true that your chess is also getting stronger with this mustache?
well, it does. My mustache grew as I kept on streaming, and I think my game has definitely improved as I continued streaming. So the answer to that question would definitely be yes.
Oh, and another thing just happened. So chess with Ovi, yeah, Ovi. He last night we played a game. He and I played a game together, and he mentioned before about the time trouble and how he can kind of falter. He'd actually come up with a really brilliant idea, an attack on me, where he first gave. I took a pawn on f3, and then his queen came to f6, and he was able to get a piece basically for the pawn. But then things kind of broke apart later on. But he asked if you'd be willing maybe to analyze that game. Would you be willing to analyze the game that he and I played from yesterday? Not right now, but if he was to share that with you.
Yes, sure. I'm always up for analysis. I would love to do that. Love to
Cool.
do that.
Awesome. That'd be really cool. It'd be fun too. Like we found out this works now, so there would be an opportunity for you and I to watch some kind of chess event, or even go over like some games following an arena, and then kind of talk to our viewers. These are some ideas that were going on. It could be a lot of fun, Art. This definitely opens up some more possibilities for both of our streams and collaborating. So this has been a lot of fun.
And thank you so much for taking the effort, taking the time out to do this, Jacob. Really appreciate that. I appreciate that.
And Twitch Fish is coming back and saying he believes that the mustache growth and your chess game are related. He's saying, perhaps, if Twitch Fish and I were to grow mustaches, perhaps our game would also grow with the stashes, right? No, I think is what he's saying.
I don't know whether that's gonna work in all the cases, but I guess there is no harm in trying it, right?
I would not have as beautiful a mustache, man. I have blondes and reds, and it looks hilarious. Like it's not the you look sophisticated and wonderful. I would look completely ridiculous, and it also I can't handle the itching like on your neck and like on your face. It itches so bad. Any amount of facial hair. Do you find that down here that it itches at all, or is it not bothering you at all, or how does that work?
It's not a beard, right? So I'm completely fine with it.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Anyway, I've really enjoyed this interview, Art. It's been so good to meet you. Maybe some final takeaways for our viewers on chess, like just something you'd like to share about chess, or just something you'd like to leave them with, I guess. Maybe just ask that. I've enjoyed this immensely. You've given a lot of insight into the game, into your past with the game, and like I said, that over the board game together would be fantastic. If we could find a way to do it one day. That'd be pretty special. So.
Um, I guess I would just uh, like to give the message that if you love this game, then love the game. Don't be disappointed by your losses. Try and treat them as an opportunity to learn from. I remember a viewer, a couple of days ago on my stream, he mentioned that he was really disheartened with the way that he was playing, and he was thinking about giving up the game. So he was basically looking for inspiration. That happens to every one of us, at some point in time. Our performance can sometimes affect us negatively. It doesn't take away the fact that you are still a good player. On your day you can perform.
Yeah.
So be positive, stay positive, try and learn from your losses. Everything happens for a reason. Even the losses have a positive side to them. If there were no losses, then how do you think that you can improve? They say that failure is the biggest teacher. So treat it as such. Take it as a positive opportunity. Easier said than done. Again, I try to do that myself. I fail sometimes myself as well. Try and set that as a standard for yourself.
Yeah, that's awesome, Art. I'm just so thankful that you came on the show today. This has worked out much better than I thought it might even work out. I was really nervous about both of us trying to stream this content, and there's all the technical
Yeah,
issues that can come up. Seems to have
yeah.
gone pretty well. Our chat, I believe they've been able to interact with us as well pretty successfully. So I'm just really happy with how this went. This has been fantastic, and thank you again for coming to my arenas and playing me. I know that, as you mentioned, that's not something you typically do, and it means the world to me. And it's helped my stream grow quite a bit. I mean, you've given me countless numbers of raids where you've come in with a party of people, and then we've of course taken them into the arena as well, some of them. So just such a wonderful thing you've done for my stream by supporting me as well. So thank you so much, Art, and real
Thank you
pleasure to
so
get to
much.
meet you.
Thank you so much for having me, Jacob. And it's my pleasure. I'm always up for encouraging streamers that I admire, and your stream is that one that I recommend wholeheartedly to everybody. So thank you for
Wow.
doing this.
Well, thank you
Thank
so
you for
much,
having.
Art. At the chat, then I'll open up to you guys. We've got maybe like gosh, what are we at right now? A little bit over an hour into the interview, so we've gone a little bit long on this one for how we've done in the past. But does the chat have any other questions for Art before we let him go here? Any other questions from you guys, or something you guys want to share with Art before we take off? I've definitely enjoyed this opportunity immensely. This was a good one, and it's good to know that we can do these live interviews as well. And we were fortunate. I didn't see any trolls in the chat today, but it was pretty cooperative, and it was just nice. We both have a pretty good, really nice viewers, I guess what I would say. Oh, this is a good one. Road to Chessmaster. He's asking, what are some of Art's tips on streaming? He's thinking of starting himself. What are some tips you have for streaming?
Swimming is like riding a bicycle. You're gonna fall off the first few times, but gradually, if you keep at it with time, you learn the ropes. I remember the first stream that I did was a pretty messed up stream. It was barely a stream. I was lagging and all. So you learn these technicalities along the way, how to deal with OBS and stuff. Uh, so go for it. Go for it. Anybody can stream chess. You know, all you need is again the passion for it, and you know uh, you learn as long as you keep at it. I mean, the world is available over the internet. You learn everything you want to know by watching YouTube videos. You know, so you can manage your way around that.
All right, and I've also got a game. This is a game that Sacrificial Ninja and I played together. I'm going to share this game with you so you can analyze it in the future. I'm just going to post it in the chat of your channel so you can look at that later on at your leisure. But that is a good thing. It was a really exciting game, so I get why Ninja wants to share that. So I'll get that game into your hands. And then
Yeah.
Twitchfish Chess is asking, how did you pick up the openings that you play? Like what resources or things were you using to pick up those openings?
No particular resource, I guess. I remember when I started playing off, I used to play E4 exclusively, and I noticed that a lot of strong players would play D4, but I just couldn't figure my head around that at that time. So gradually, as I kept, growing in strength, I started playing the D4 lines, and over time, I just became. Now I call myself a D4 player, which isn't a good thing, again, because you need to have a vast opening repertoire. But that is what it is,
And then
right?
one last thing to share with you, Chess with Ovi is saying, if you come to America, he'd like to take you out for a burger, fries, cola, and some chess. And he says the invite stands as long as you come to Georgia. So you make it over to Georgia within the United States, and he says, hey, I'll take you out and do some stuff with you. So
I would love to do that. The last time I visited the States for way back in 1991, I was like 7 years old. And I visited, I remember California, Santa Clara, Phoenix, and Las Vegas. So I would love to come over to Georgia, and sounds good by me. Chess with Ovi is, he's also a streamer, and I think he is a very smart and intelligent person. So I would definitely love to do that.
So You earlier told us that you're going to be 37 soon, and you started playing chess when you were 11. So I guess that'd be like 26 years you've played chess then, is that correct? 26 years roughly?
Well, I guess the time range would be 26 years, but I was sort of on and off in my teen years. There weren't a lot of players that I could play with over here. Online chess was pretty much it. But even from online chess, I would take a break for sometime like a few years. Only recently have I started, regular basis and started studying some chess as well.
Nice.
So yeah, the time range is 26 years, I guess.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and probably call this interview right there. It's been so nice to meet you, Art. It's been really nice to finally have this opportunity to have this discussion with you. I think our viewers now know a lot more about you and your chess. And I hope that having seen this, you guys will come by my stream, Art's stream, enjoy Art Simul's, come over to my stream, play an arena, get to play games with both of us. I'll definitely take Art's advice in my simul's now and take the time following a simul to go back over the games and analyze them because that is a wonderful tidbit that has to be making your stream more successful and adding an element to it. You know, anytime you're learning about chess.
I would recommend asking the viewers, if you analyze 10 or 11 players games, then that can be a bit tiring for yourself. So I would recommend asking who wants their game analyzed. So you don't have to analyze like 10 or 11 games because that can become mentally exhausting. So you that.
Nice. Yeah, that's really good advice as well. Well, thank you so much, Art, for being here. Have a great day. You take care of yourself. If you want to, keep going on your stream, you're welcome to, of course. I'm going to kind of cut my stream here so I can go ahead and upload it to YouTube. This has been a fantastic experience. We'll be playing some arenas soon. And what a great guy, I really wish that you were in the States just for the whole over-the-board thing and to make this a little bit easier. But I do look forward to seeing you on Lead Chess as well. So I hope you have a good night, and or I guess you're already in the night now. It's like what 1:30 in the morning or some some wickedly late
Yeah.
time for you. But thank you so much again. It's been a really good show. This is fantastic. So
My pleasure, and this was again really awesome of you. You are the perfect host, Jacob. You're awesome. You have a way with the interviews. So thank you so much for having me. Take care of yourself and stay safe.
yeah, you too. Take care, Art, and have a good day. I'm leaving now, so my stream's ending. Go over and check out Art's stream. He's probably gonna keep going for a while, and see the amazing stuff that he's put on over there. Always some really good chess. You take care, Art, and thank you again for everything. Bye, everybody. See
All
you
right.
guys next time.
Take care, Jacob. Bye bye.
Bye.